Morning. Top of the morning to ya. Why? I don't wanna hear me. I really don't. How are you today, everybody? It's, Tuesday, October 28th of 2025. Just checking my live here so I can make sure I can say hello to whoever is here. If I get one of you to be here, that would be awesome. It'd be super fun. Super funsies. Alright, good. I'm off. Fantastic. So how are you today? It feels muggy outside a little bit. It's weird. I took Louis out at, I don't know, 5 AM ish, and I was expecting to be freezing, but I wasn't. And I told you guys I'm lingering. The last part of this cold is lingering now. And there's a lot of this stuff going around, I guess. This is what I'm hearing on the streets with in the hood, in the cold hood. Lots of stuff going on, so make sure you sanitize really well. I haven't slept, literally. So, not last night, but the previous 4 nights, I hadn't slept. I don't know if it was the antibiotic or what the dealio was, but I've been boink, I've been wide awake, no prednisone, nothing. I haven't been taking anything like that, just the antibiotic and my supplements, that's it. So, last night, I decided to take a gummy, one of my gummies, and let me tell you, this is how often I take a gummy, and I don't even take the full one. I cut it in half, just so y'all know. I bought 10 3 months ago, and I still have half a packet left. So there you go. I literally d it's a once in a blue moon thing, but I have to say I get a good sleep, girl. I get the sleep noozles or what sleep-a-noogans, I don't know whatever the heck they're called. They're called something, sleep something, and I do sleep. However, when I wake up out of that sleep for a minute or so, I do feel like something happened. I don't know where I am. Well, I know where I am, but it's the weirdest feeling. So that's why I don't know how people do that all the time. I really don't. Listen, I'm doing half a gummy and I'm out of my mind. I take 3 Tylenol instead of 2. I'm out of my mind. It's great. Like I'm such a lightweight. So good morning. Hi, my name is Kiki. For those of you who do not know, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and also listen to our fabulous streaming radio station, Kiki.fm. It's really, oh, look at that little piece right there. It's really good. Al has perfected it, I think, to perfectionism. So good for him. Yay for Al. Hi, Al. I know you're watching while you're buried in your hoodie. So, hi, I love you. Good morning. You're so good. I hope all of you are good too. And good morning, Chrissy. How are you? Barry, what is going on? Cindy, Piatti, Sherry, Heidi Ho, everybody. I hope you're having a fabulous start to your day. But I can tell you who's not having a good start to their day. And we are really sending our positive vibes, love, and everything to all of the folks in Jamaica. This is from the New York Times. Live updates they are giving. Jamaica warns Hurricane Melissa will bring catastrophic winds and rain. The Category 5 storm is the most powerful in the Atlantic Ocean this year. The authorities in Jamaica and Cuba have issued evacuation orders for tens of thousands of people. You know, a lot of these storms now, doesn't it seem as if they're getting crazier and crazier? It's scary. It really is. Hurricane Melissa was on track to make the direct hit on Jamaica today, as the nation's prime minister warned that no country in the Caribbean could withstand a storm this powerful. I mean, that's the words right there. But where do you go? Where do these poor people go? Do they have to hop on a plane? I don't know. Is Jamaica big enough that you can go from one side to the other and be safe? I don't think so. But who am I? I don't know. They're saying 175 mile per hour winds. They're thinking 3 feet of rain will fall. And the National Hurricane Center said late yesterday that the winds in Melissa's eye wall are so strong they could cause total structural failure and widespread power and communication outages. Some parts of Jamaica were already cut off by Monday afternoon. So let's just, continue to send our love and prayers to the people in Jamaica and pray that this storm just totally peters out before it gets there. That does happen a lot too, and we can only hope for the best for those folks. And again, just keep them in your prayers. That's all we can do. And someone else you want to keep in your prayers, Brian Setzer of the Stray Cats. He canceled the first two shows of the US tour due to his serious illness. This is from Ultimate Classic Rock. So they were forced to cancel their first two shows in their US tour this past weekend because of Brian Setzer's serious illness. They also decided not to do their October 25th show in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and their October 26th appearance in Rockford, Illinois. And the statement reads, "I'm heartbroken to share due to serious illness, I am unable to perform and very regrettably have to cancel tonight's show at Soaring Eagle in Mount Pleasant, Michigan," Brian wrote in a statement. "I know this affects so many people, and I am devastated to have to deliver this news. I've been trying to do everything I can to go on and do this show, but it's just not possible. I've been looking forward so much to being on stage with my bandmates again and playing for all of our amazing fans, and I'm gutted." Now, Brian Setzer, I know he's had some health issues um, going on. Let's see. I actually talked about him not too long ago. So I'm not sure if this is the reason why he had to cancel, but he's been dealing with autoimmune disease that makes it difficult for him to even play his guitar because his hands cramp up and it's just not comfortable to play. And let's see, he's also experienced a decline in his fine motor skills. And what happens with autoimmune disease is when you are diagnosed with this is happening because the immune system is attacking the body's healthy cells. So instead of, our body trying to get rid of the bad that's within our body, like if you have a cold or the flu or something of that nature, this is the reverse. And they're just there to get rid of your healthy cells, which is insanely crazy. So our wishes going out to Brian Setzer, and hopefully he's doing well soon. This is from masslive.com. I saw this and I'm like, what is a lot of money talk in the next couple of articles, but there is a large whiskey brand out of Martha's Vineyard, I guess. I'm not a whiskey drinker. For those of you who know, I like Prosecco, and that's pretty much it. 1 to 2 glasses a week on the weekends on a Friday. That's about it. So I'm not really in tune with whiskey. But this is, again, from masslive.com. This award-winning whiskey brand is selling off its Martha's Vineyard property to survive a massive $108 million lawsuit. This whiskey brand, Uncle Nearest, launched about 10 years ago, and it's battling to stay afloat. The company's largest lender, Farm Credit Mid-America. Anything with the word farm in it. Are they doing well? Probably not. Well, they filed a $100 million lawsuit against Uncle Nearest for the Eastern District of Tennessee on July 28th, claiming the company owed more than $108 million in various loans and interest payments. That's a lot of money. Like, how do you forget to pay your bill on that? And then the interest. Oh, dear Lord. And here's the thing, I say this to Al all the time. You gotta give kudos to new businesses, people trying to, just do things for themselves and make things work, but it's hard. It really is. It's just gotta be so hard to do that because not only are you dealing with yourself, then you've got employees and you've got expenses and overhead. It's crazy. So just 3 months after this lawsuit was filed and 2 months after the receivership was announced, the company is just going to sell off non-core assets, including property in Martha's Vineyard, to stabilize its finances. So I guess they have several properties, I don't know. And I can only imagine what property in Martha's Vineyard is worth. Can you just let's look one up. I'm just for funsies. Martha's Vineyard, let's see. Let's just land for sale. Land for sale. Let's see. Let's see how much it's going for. So land in lots in Martha's Vineyard. Okay, so here's one. 4.32 acres in Chilmark, which is on the vineyard, is selling for 1.25 million. That's just blank land. Nothing. So they're asking 289,000 plus per acre. And then this one, 5.37 acres, $2.45 million. There is quite a bit of land for sale, but you're not getting it cheap, kids. I mean, here's just under quarter of an acre for 600,000, and that's not even what you got to do to get it prepped to put a house on it. Can you just imagine the cost on the vineyard to get permits and materials and all of that to build a house? You gotta be rich, girl. You gotta be a rich girl, and you've gone too far. But it doesn't matter anyway. It just doesn't. So they're also going to sell off holdings in French vineyards, a cognac chateau, and other real estate. And at the end of the day, are they going to come out on top, even after selling all of these things? Who the heck knows? But in more money news, this was kind of a shocker to me. I'm going, I thought this guy was wicked rich. He's been around for decades. I mean, we heard his name as kids. Francis Ford Coppola. This is from yahoo.com. He's being forced to sell his prized watches after sinking $120 million into box office bomb Megalopolis. So I had to look up what the movie Megalopolis is and was because I had never heard of it. So there's point one. And I guess Megalopolis came out last year. Last year. And this guy in it, I can't remember what he was in, but I recognize him. Anyway, it's set in an alternate 21st century New York City, restyled as New Rome. And there's a lot of pretty, I don't know, scenery and all that stuff. But Francis Ford Coppola says he went broke putting out this film, which is so crazy. Like, wouldn't you maybe think about it before you do it? Have a plan, something. Francis Ford Coppola has Coppola. You say I say Coppola. Maybe you say Coppola. So whatever you do, it's tomato, tomato, potato, potato. What do you say? Potato, potato. I say potato. I don't know anyone who says potato. No one, not one person. Francis Ford Coppola. So he's selling off a large part of his prized watch collection because of the failure of this film. I mean, he did The Godfather, Apocalypse Now. The guy is just a mega movie man. but he just couldn't bring that Midas touch to Megalopolis, I guess. Francis Ford Coppola also recently sparked concern from fans after he was admitted to a public hospital, but later explained that the visit was for a scheduled procedure. He's 86 years old now, and he is selling his prized watches through the auction house Phillips. In his collection, he has a $11 million one of a kind watch from Francois Paul Jaunet. And let's see, Jaunet, who I guess is still around, said he spoke with Francis in 2012 and he designed this watch for him after speaking to him about what he wanted in a watch. This is a pretty big deal, I guess. And if you're a watch collector, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I got to have that watch. And let me go and get my 11 million out of the bank and go buy Francis's watch from Journet. And Journet says after years of collaborating directly with Francis in the development process, it was a great pleasure to deliver this FFC prototype to him in 2021. And let's see. Francis said that he doesn't consider this movie that failed to be any more of a passion project than his other films. He said, I think all of my films are passion projects. Wouldn't they have to be, right? I mean, you're putting everything into it. Even when you're doing a film for money, when you get down into the work, you're passionate about it because cinema is something you can't do without loving, he said. And he also said, I've seen great directors like Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg do something on their cut and then dance around like kids with enthusiasm. Francis is worth around 400 million and he could afford to self-fund rather than go through the traditional studio route because he's not motivated by money. But he's selling his watches. So I mean, I get it, not motivated by money, but he's selling his watches. So it's all about the money, honey, all the time. And at the 2024 Cannes Film Festival, he said he never cared about money and his 3 children don't need a fortune from him. I mean, really, how much do you need to live on? I mean, the guy's supposedly worth 400 million. So, I mean, why he has to sell his $1 million watches, I don't know. I don't know. Well, 120 million, that's a lot. But 400 minus 120, you still have like 280 left. 280 million, unless that's all tied up in something. The movie Megalopolis didn't do well at the box office at all. It only grossed 14.3 million out of the 120 that he spent to make it. And critics slammed it as bloated, boring, and a head-wrecking abomination. So there you go. And, you know, we talk about Bruce Springsteen's film not doing so hot in the box office overseas. What, 9 million, I think it brought in. So not good. And there's your money talk for the day. You know, celebrities have just as many problems as we do. All right. Now, the other day I read a Facebook post about from someone, I can't remember the person's name, but I was intrigued by it and I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking about this Facebook post when he talked about Jonathan Cain leaving Journey and how, you know, he's retiring. He just isn't going to do it anymore. He's going to go do his own thing. He's almost 80. You know, it's like this is our reality now in this world this musical world that we're in, the people we follow. And then he talked about Steve Perry leaving Journey. And, you know, some people were kind of saying, well, Steve Perry didn't leave Journey in a lurch. He didn't just get up and leave. So I decided to dig into it a little bit this morning just to give you a little dose of Steve Perry today because we got nothing. We have nothing. We don't even have like a little picture. that he's posted. This is what Steve does. He's quiet for months on end, but Christmas is right around the corner, so I guess he'll start talking again. He will. He'll start posting, maybe he'll wear a little turkey hat for Thanksgiving again and let us see. I don't know. So I said, let me go and just let's do a little investigative Steve Perryness together because why not? Right? So I looked this up and I asked Google, when Steve Perry left Journey, did they have any shows left to play? That was my question. So the answer came up. Yes, Journey was in the middle of a tour when Steve Perry left the band in 1987, and they had shows left to play because when this person made this comment on Facebook, and I apologize for not remembering the name, you can go back and I said it was just a few days ago we talked about it. People were coming after this person saying, well, no, they didn't have any shows left to play and, everything was fine. Well, I don't think it was fine. I don't think it was a good thing, because we know there was definitely not good feelings after that all happened. His last full performance with the band was on February 1st of 1987 in Anchorage, Alaska, for those of you who didn't know, which was part of the Raised on Radio tour. So February 1st, 1987, that was the last show Steve Perry played with Journey as their frontman. And the band was partway through the tour when he made his decision to leave. But then he came back again. When he left Journey for the final time in 1998, the band had an upcoming tour scheduled. In fact, the tour was the reason for his departure, and that was his final exit. But I don't know. I kind of feel like his real exit, don't you think, was in 87? Because that's when they were flying high. However, when you get technical, I guess the last time he really left was in 1998. The band was going to go out on tour to support their 1996 reunion album, Trial by Fire. That never happened. That tour never took place. And I guess because in August of 96, while everybody else in Journey was preparing to go on this tour for Trial by Fire, Steve hurt his hip in a hiking accident. And he was in pain, not happening. We all know that touring is tough on these guys and ladies, and it takes a lot to do a tour. So the guys were getting antsy. The ultimatum came. Steve had to have hip replacement surgery in order to do the tour. But he kept putting off getting the surgery. And the rest of the guys in Journey, Neil and Jonathan, really, right? With, of course, the rest of the band, but Neil and Jonathan basically run Journey. They said, listen, Steve, get your hip fixed so we can go on the road, or something's got to give here. We got to move on. And I guess, like even myself having had two back surgeries, I don't know, like I'm not Steve Perry, thank you. But it's a scary thing to know that you have to go in for surgery. No matter what the surgery is, it's scary. So you don't know what his headspace was at that point in time. However, being Steve Perry of the humongous band Journey, there's all these other factors. Well, I really should get the surgery because then I can go back out on tour. Or if I get the surgery, what if I don't recover properly? Then I'm still obligated to go on this tour. Hence, let's think about Lou Gramm and how that poor man was forced to go on the road after he had a brain surgery, a massive brain surgery, and he was forced to go on the road, not looking his best, not feeling his best, but he had a contract to fulfill. So Steve probably was thinking about all of these things. He's like, I don't know, man. Oh, here comes a sneeze. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. I can't. It happens to me every day. I just want to sneeze. I just want to. Anyway, back to Steve Perry. So because Steve was feeling the pressure, he said, listen, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go. He didn't have the surgery at that point in time. And on May 7th of 1998, his official departure was announced. Then steps in the fabulous and amazing Mr. Steve Augeri. In 1998, imagine that. That poor guy, too. At that point in time, I mean, he went through a lot trying to fill the shoes of Steve Perry. First of all, who can? You can't. I love Steve Augeri, but he had really a humongous, iconic image to step into, and he was getting death threats and all of it. People were just ranking on the poor guy. And it ended up Steve was with Journey for a decade. So, it worked out for him. He's still around, he's on the verge of retiring. And Steve's a great guy. Pretty cool. He's out, doing the remaining shows he's got with his son, which is really, really awesome and definitely a full circle moment. Anywho, going back to Steve Perry. So it's also said that he just had a loss of passion for touring and performing. He just didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, really going back to Journey and their magnanimous top of the world success, honestly. Journey and Foreigner. I mean, really. Can't even imagine, what they all went through on a good note. The good stuff, all the good stuff. Just how much fun and the money and the women that they, get to conquest at the time. And just all of it, the partying, the mingling, all of it, performing, people loving you, just loving you because you're on that stage. But Steve just, he got to a point, he cracked. He couldn't do it anymore. And it has to be kind of weird for him. Even now to this day, 2025, you have people like me and other people, of course, talking about Steve Perry like he's a god. He's not a god. We have to, he's our musical icon or whatever, but he's a person just like the rest of us. We do have to realize that sometimes. We do have to realize that he's got feelings, he's got emotion. But it really is interesting to me, though, how he puts himself out there, how he chooses to present himself when he does. It really is fascinating when you think about it. He steps back, he comes out. He steps back, he shows up. He steps back, he puts out a record after not having one for thousands of years. He steps back, he puts out 3 Christmas albums. It's just, it's interesting, but I think he's doing it his way. He's doing it the way he wants to do it, and he's doing it the way he wants to go out. And let's also remember, he doesn't have to do anything because every time, now Journey's going on this big tour next year and in 27, and Steve's going to make oodles of money from that without doing a thing. I mean, good for him. Boy, he made a good deal back in the day, didn't he? Right? He made a really, really good deal. So let's go ahead and watch this little clippy from Dan Rather. Let me go ahead and share my screen just to give you a little teeny tiny Steve fix of your day. All right. And here we go.
In 1987, you walk away.
Yeah.
Now, there's been a lot written about this. What can you tell me about walking away that maybe you haven't talked about before?
Well, It was a combination of the passion for music had left me. I could not, find the honest passion for singing. And because of that, I was stepping into some other, dare I say, party behaviors to augment my frustrations. And then I think my voice was also suffering. I think everything started to suffer for me. And it did not help restore my passion for music. So eventually, the feeling just got very clear to me that I need to just stop. And I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was going to do or where I was going to go. All I knew is that I can't keep doing what I'm doing. I need to just stop because this is not going anywhere good.
Now, were drugs a part of this? Women a part of this?
Certainly drugs and drinking were a part of it, of course. Yeah. I mean, that came with the times, It's a funny thing about success. When you do get a chance to finally live that dream that you wanted when you were 7 years old, 8, 9, 12 years old, and you get it. Now, I'm not complaining, Dan. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you my heart. When you finally get that and you're loving it, it's kind of at some point, a little bit of a luster starts to wear off over and over again if you keep touring and keep turning the same wheel over and over again. And I think it leaves room for the opportunity for other enhancements, dare I say, to replace some of the lack of luster that it once had.
So you walk away.
I walked away.
Did you ever? What did you do?
I bought a Harley Davidson in Visalia, California, because my hometown was Hanford, California, about 18 miles away. And I would drive that Harley in the summertime.
Excuse me, had you been into motorcycles before?
No. I decided that was going to be my new passion, was motorcycles. So I bought this Harley, and there was no helmet law back then, and my long hair was flying 20 feet in back of me, and I rediscovered parts of my life that I completely forgot about. For instance, the Central San Joaquin Valley can get up to 110, 112 degrees every summer. But when you're riding a motorcycle by an alfalfa field, the alfalfa fields on both sides of the motorcycle drops at sometimes 10 degrees. You feel like you're in an air-conditioned environment. And I thought, well, I remember that when I was a kid. So I was reconnecting with my childhood and actually reconnecting with the loss of my mother that I'd lost. She had died before. And went out to visit other departed relatives pretty regular to try to just connect with my life where it is right at that time. Because when you re-enter the Earth's atmosphere of your life after a ride like that, you got to do something. You got to ground yourself somehow. So I did a lot of that.
And there you go. There you go. I mean, he's just, I don't know. I think he was just being honest. He was just, he took, to me, again, my own personal opinion, he just took what was inside of him and went with it. He didn't think, I feel like he didn't overthink anything. He just did it. I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm over it. That's it. I'm moving on with my life and I'm taking a different path. And that worked for him. So there you go. There you go. The day he decided to walk away from Journey. Oh my gosh, Sherry. Kiki, just wondering how many times a day you think about the hug you got from Steve at the breast cancer fundraiser you went to. Sorry, Al, I have to ask. Here's the thing, Sherry. It was so quick. I was literally rushed in, rushed out. There wasn't even time to think about it. And I do think about that day. Of course, it was 6 years ago yesterday. Mark McCullough actually sent me a message and reminded me it's like crazy, right? How quickly time goes by. It was a fabulous day. It was a wonderful day, but it was just so fast. It really was just too quick. That's why I always say, listen, I'll go to his house, sit down for some ice cream and a hot dog from the baseball game. San Francisco, whatever team he goes and sees. I don't know. Not a sports girl. So there you go, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. It's already Tuesday, my gosh, Halloween. And then we turn the clocks back this weekend. I'll keep reminding you all week because I have to remind myself and I'll still forget. But Al will remember. So kudos to him for that. All right, guys, I hope to see you tomorrow morning. Remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and download the free app of Kiki.fm. And remember, I love you, love you, love you. Mwah, and I will see you soon, I hope. Have an awesome day, guys. Bye.